Hello everyone. Today I would share few tips to handle congenital cataract. Congenital cataract refers to lens opacity which is present at birth. It may be unilateral or bilateral. Like senile cataract, congenital cataract would be of different type like anterior polar, posterior polar, nuclear or cerulean cataract. Management of congenital cataract is very different to the treatment of age-related cataract. In adults, the surgery may be delayed for years without affecting the visual outcome. In infants, if the cataract is not removed during first year of life, the vision will never be fully regained after surgery because of development of deep amblyopia. Surgery is done under general anesthesia. Minimum facilities required are an anesthetist with the suitable equipments and skills to treat infants and small children, a vitrectomy instrument to deal with posterior capsule and anterior vitreous phase, an ophthalmologist with experience in treating children, and access to amblyopia therapy later on. Always use high viscosity viscoelastics to fill the antechamber. Since the lens is spherical in shape, to make the antecapsule flat we need tightly filled antechamber without leakage. Even in the presence of red glow, it is always better to stain the antecapsule with Ripon blue dye. Performing a capsular access is always different experience in infants or in child, and because the antecapsule is very elastic and it tries to run away towards the periphery. Make a small nick in the center of the capsule and try to initiate the capsular access with Ottarata forceps by keeping the traction towards the center. The capsular tears would try to go towards the periphery, so carefully initiate the tear. Capsular access should not be smaller than 5 or 5.5 mm, otherwise in short time the child will develop anterior capsular phimosis or closure. In this case the pupil was not well dilated, so I filled the chamber again with viscoelastics to get some amount of pupillary dilation, and gradually carefully I stretched the capsule and completed the access to desirable size. There was a soft nucleus present. I performed Hydro procedure to make the epinuclear plate and cortex loose in the bag. Because the nucleus is soft and there is no need for phaco power to dissolve the nucleus, it can be easily aspirated through irrigation aspiration tip. Aspiration of epinuclear plate and cortical matter is not very difficult. It is almost like as we do in adults. So finally I cleared the cortical matter and polished the posterior capsule with hydrojet technique. And now I filled the antechamber and capsular bag with the high viscosity viscoelastic. Because pupil was not very well dilated, so I decided to secure the single piece hydrophobic implant in the bag. Intact posterior capsule will give rise to dense posterior capsular opacification in few days only because of very active intracellular capsular cells. Therefore, performing central posterior capsular access is very important in infants and child. In this case, pupil was not properly dilated, so it became difficult to achieve at least 4 or 4.5 mm of posterior capsular access to capture the optics of IOL. For good posterior capsular access, visualization of capsule is very important. Here I was not satisfied with the size of PCC, so I used a vitrectomy cutter to enlarge the posterior capsular axis, and simultaneously I removed the anterior vitreous phase. Ideally, optic capture should be tried with the posterior capsular axis because it locks the capsular bag and eliminates the chances of migration of capsular cells and fibers towards the vitreous. Do not do irrigation aspiration forcefully. Remove the viscoelastics very gently to avoid the prolapse of vitreous. Always place a single suture in clear corneal incision before final closure. Thanks for watching.